I'd like to welcome everybody to our Sunday program. As Nishingarupa said, we know you have many things you can do on these days. We appreciate your taking the time to spend with us here and utilizing this life for the proper purpose, which is to understand our eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. And we pray that you have a good experience here tonight, a wonderful experience, and that you're able to carry this evening throughout your whole week. And if you have need, please reach out to us. We're here all week long. And we just pray that everybody is well. Oh, it didn't come on the board, huh? Okay. Search for the words to this song. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari. Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I can't really hear you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Raise your hands, chant loudly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Raise your hand. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody clap your hands. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hare Hare. Thank you all for your enthusiastic chanting. My voice has been out the whole week. Came back just a little bit for the evening kirtan. What did you think? You like chanting like that? Actually, this chanting, it's a very, very special week. For some reason, I'm not They don't want it to block the camera. This is actually a very, very special week in the Hare Krishna movement. Before we continue to go on, can everybody just move forward now? Like 2 or 3 squares, because in a few minutes we're going to have to actually do it again unless we do it very, very well this time. We're trying to bring everybody together. So this is a very, very special week because I think it was the 13th. The founder of our society left India and arrived in Boston Harbor on September 13th, 1965. So this is our 60th anniversary of his arrival. Just a little history, if I may, while I get my voice together, is that Prabhupada, which we fondly call him Prabhupada, which means one whose feet all the masters sit. All the masters sit at the feet of Srila Prabhupada. He was born in a devotee family. He was raised by devotee parents. At the age probably 21, 22, 23, he went to a gathering of devotees on the request of his friend. There's a really saintly person here. And although he had experienced different types of saintly people, from the type that are actually saintly to the ones that, after the Sangha, which means association, go out and buy beedis. Beedis is a cheap Indian cigarette. And so he knew from top to bottom. And so he was a little curious. So they went to see this saintly person, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Thakur. And in India, the custom is When you see a saintly person, you bow down. It's described we either bow down now or we bow down when we die. Better to get used to it before that time comes. So, as soon as they were partially getting up, they just hadn't fully sat up, he said, "You are both educated young men. You should share this Krishna consciousness, this chanting of Hare Krishna to the Western world." They hadn't even met him. They don't even know names yet. And he gave them an instruction. He kept that instruction very, very deep in his heart. And although he was married, he had children, he had many responsibilities, elderly father, elderly parents, so many things that go along with life. We all know. We've all been there. And so, at a certain point, he retired. And then he began translating scriptures. And his goal was, actually there's a story behind that, is he had a little magazine called Back to Godhead, a little 1 or 2 page that he would distribute, talking about the different issues, the different practices of bhakti, and go around himself and pass them out and get maybe a couple paisa, few pennies. And one person told him, these little papers, they can be read and tossed. You need to print books. You need to print books. So he translated all these books, over 80 books, from Sanskrit and Bengali into English. And that was on the order of his guru. Actually, one time he was walking with his Guru Maharaj in a very, very sacred place. It's called Radha Kund. Kunda means lake, and it's the lake of Srimati Radharani. It is the most sacred place in the universe. And he was walking with the spiritual master. And as in every institution, there are always challenges. There were challenges back then. The spiritual master told him, because he had been doing business, if you ever get money, print books. So he took that to heart. And he translated the Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos. He translated the first canto, which took up 3 books, excuse me. There's so much history to this. In India, you needed so many different things just to get a visa, and just to get a passport. So somehow or another, through the arrangements, he got his passport. And then you have to get a P form for this thing. I can't actually remember. Oh, want me to drink some? Okay. She's my dog. And so, somehow or another, to make a long story short, I should actually make a short story long, because it's such a wonderful story. He ended up getting his passport, and he ended up getting all the certificates. But he needed to get to America. And he met one man, Mr. Agarwal, elderly man. And it turns out his son had moved to America. And Prabhupada, just in like gentle talk, just soft talk, oh, maybe he can sponsor me. So that person actually went down to the American consulate in Delhi and filled out all the forms it takes to sponsor somebody in America, which in 1965 wasn't the easiest thing to do. So difficult to get a visa for America. That man had sent many requests to his son. And then one day, Prabhupada got a message or a letter in his box. Please come to the American consulate. Your visa is ready. Mr. Agarwal had sponsored him for 1 month. So he was given a 1 month visa. I think it's tourist. 1 month visa. So now he has to get to India. Now he has to get to America from India. So how to do that? There was one lady who was very, very favorable, especially because he was giving out spiritual knowledge, true spiritual knowledge, and he was really a sadhu. He was really a sadhu. And he asked her, please give me passage. She owned a shipping company, very, very wealthy. Turns out that she was actually at that point the wealthiest woman in the world. And Prabhupada asked her for passage. And she said, Swamiji, you're too old. It's too cold. Don't go. Swamiji, you're too old. It's too cold. Don't go. And he was pushing. So finally, one day, he just sat down on the steps of the shipping company's entrance and said he would not leave until he was given a passage. So she gave him a passage. On what is known as the Jaladuta. That's the name of the ship, Jaladuta. Jala means water, and Duta means servant. Like the Yamaduta. Servants of Yama, or the Vishnu Duta, the servants of Vishnu. So he was giving a little cabin. They have these little cabins on the steamship. And he was assigned one cabin to reside in while he was on the ship. He left from Calcutta. And by the time the ship got on, she's a pulmonary pediatrician, so she's, okay. I have these little ones from India that are like fishermen's wharf. And by the time the ship was plying in the Bay of Bengal, he became severely seasick and just throwing for days and days and days. He kept a journal. And in those days, he just put a line on the page. And then they went and they picked up the books, all the, crates of books, and loaded them on the ship. And the ship goes on up north, Arabian Sea, up to the canal, everything. And he has 2 heart attacks in a row. He suffered 2 heart attacks. He was completely nauseous, and he suffered 2 heart attacks side by side. And then he entered in his journal, if this happens again, I will not make it. If this keeps going, if the boat's going like this, and my heart stops again, I will not make it. The next day, excuse me for coughing all the time. Maybe I'll try to do it outside the microphone. He had a dream. And in that dream, Krishna was rowing the ship. Krishna was rowing the ship. And the Atlantic Ocean became so calm that by the time they got all the way to Boston and then into New York, the whole crew came to him and begged him, please go back with us. We've never seen the Atlantic Ocean so calm. And so he went, it was like 36 days at sea. And then the ship lands in Boston Harbor. And so he takes him out, the ship captain takes him out and shows him around Boston. Back in those days, India didn't have any tall buildings. And when you get to Boston and you see these skyscrapers, I don't know if he said this word skyscrapers on purpose or if it was just his Indian accent saying skyscraper. But either way, it's really cool. So after he saw that, he went back on the ocean, on the cargo ship, and he wrote a poem. My dear Lord Krishna, I do not know why you are so merciful to this fallen soul. You have brought me to America to share this message of chanting the holy names of Krishna, sharing the message of bhakti yoga. But this place is so much steeped in the mode of passion and ignorance. It's so passionate. You have to imagine like a 70-year-old man that lived his life in British-controlled India until 1948, 47, 48. And hadn't gone anywhere besides around India. So he wrote a poem. My dear Lord Krishna, I do not understand why you are so kind to this fallen soul. He's not writing it as if it's going to be published. He's writing it as a prayer to the Supreme Lord. This isn't going to go on face page or Instagram or whatever else we have out there. I try to avoid those things. They are addictive. So he was writing this to the Lord and saying, how is it possible that this will happen? This place is so much in the mode of ignorance and passion. How are they ever going to hear this? 1965, Civil Rights Movement. 1965, Vietnam. 1965, women's liberation. So many demonstrations and different things that were being pushed around by the youth of America. And he comes into that situation and he teaches bhakti yoga. Bhakti means love or devotion. If you have love, you have devotion. He goes to Butler, Pennsylvania, which is now famous. There's an assassination attempt on the president or the candidate for presidency. But that's where his sponsor lived, Butler, Pennsylvania. And even in Butler, Pennsylvania, the host figured out that he really wants to talk about Krishna. So they made engagements for him every night. Someplace over here during the day, YMCA, Odd Fellows Club, or whatever they call that one, Masonic Lodge. There's just different colleges, different classrooms. He was preaching during the day, and at night they would invite all their friends. Because her husband was an engineer, so he had many, many educated friends. So every day and every evening he was sharing Krishna consciousness in Butler, Pennsylvania. But then when you're in Butler, Pennsylvania, you think, how is it going to go all over the world from this little town in Pennsylvania? So he told the Agarwals, I want to go to New York. And they were worried. I mean, after 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks of his association, they were very concerned about him going all the way down to New York. He's 70 years old. He has no money. He only knows one person in New York City. And he knows one person at a university in Philadelphia. So he goes to Philadelphia, meets that person, and that person is a Sanskrit professor that doesn't know Sanskrit. Amazing. And he was teaching, was it Sanskrit or Hinduism or something? Anyway, there was a long, what would you say, exchange with that one too. There's so many of them. And then down to New York City. And in New York City, he knew Dr. Mishra. Dr. Mishra was actually a doctor, but he became a yoga teacher. And he taught impersonal philosophy, that I am God, you are God, we are all God, we just have to remember. So my question is, how does God forget? God can't forget. So he was attending Dr. Mishra's programs, and then he would speak. And some of the people became a little attractive to the fact that God's a person, not just an energy. But Dr. Mishra asked him, maybe you should just move across the street. I'll get your place across the street. But still Prabhupada would come. Actually, Dr. Mishra said that Prabhupada had saved his life. He was so ill. And Prabhupada would go over to his, he lived on the Upper West Side in a skyscraper apartment with all the rich. And he went over there every day and would cook lunch for Dr. Mishra, not Vajra Mishra, Dr. Mishra. And he said, the Swami's cooking saved my life. He said, I had nothing. I was almost ready to go. And so he had this little apartment across the street. And he was gaining a few people coming in. And somebody gave him a tape, one of those big old-fashioned reel-to-reel tape recorders, and he would record everything that he said at the classes. And sometimes he would just be in the apartment by himself, and he would turn it on, and he would sing kirtan like we just did before we started speaking. And so we have all those. We have all those recordings, all those talks, all those songs. And then one day, somebody came in and stole everything from his apartment. He's 70 years old, and now he has no place to live that's safe. So he ends up down. Some people that had become attracted to him said, you can stay in my apartment with me. That was down in the Bowery, the Lower East Side, the Bowery. The word Bowery sounds as bad as it is, almost as bad. He would have to step over passed out drunks on the steps to get into his apartment. And then that person went crazy on some kind of drugs and started chasing him around the room. When he finally escaped and got outside and was standing out there, no money, didn't know anybody else except for a few people that had come to visit him, and he doesn't know where to go. And finally, one of the boys came by, come and stay with us. And after a week or two, they found a little storefront. And the storefront was previously called Matchless Gifts. No gift to match. And they found a little apartment behind it. And so these young men, they gathered up their money. The rent was $125 a month. $125 a month. You know how much $125 is? Back in 1965, if it was today, it would be $12,500. No, 12,500. What do you think? A lot of money for a month, huh? And he started having classes Wednesdays and Fridays on Bhagavad Gita. And then slowly he started having Chaitanya Charitamrita classes in the mornings. And he got this group of young men and one or two ladies that came. And that's where the Hare Krishna movement started. From that little apartment, he went the first time to Washington Square Park with all these hippies, leftover beatniks, whatever you want to call them. One time, there was an interview with Srila Prabhupada when he arrived here in Dallas with a reporter. And the reporter was a young man. And so the reporter asked him, what would happen if the whole world became Krishna conscious? You see, you have to understand, Prabhupada had a real deep sense of humor. The people, the devotees who had intimate contact with him understood that he had so much humor. I'll give you an example. There was a challenge getting our temple in Mumbai. So much challenge. So Gargamuni and Tamal Krishnavars, they were sannyasi, they were swamis at the time. And so Prabhupada told Gargamuni, everybody likes you. You're such a warm person. You go talk to Mr. Nair. And as he's walking out the door, he says, no. You don't have any business sense. Well, Tamal, you should go. You have business sense. And then when he was at the door, he said, no, you can't go because nobody likes you. He said, I'll go. I have to do it. And they both said, yes, Prabhupada, you have to do it. What a sense of humor. And so that interview was going on here. And so the young man asked Prabhupada, what would happen if the whole world, everybody became Krishna conscious? And Prabhupada said, there'd be no more hippies. And so the person told him, the interviewer asked him, what's a hippie? And he just said, you know so much better than me. Something unusual. Something very unusual. Because practically the Hare Krishna movement started in New York City amongst the hippies and the whatever you want to call it. And in 1967, he ended up in San Francisco in the Summer of Love, taking care of all the hippies on Hippie Hill. He literally went out on Hippie Hill surrounded by these something unusual people that were on drugs, they were on this, they're on that, and he just did kirtan. He had a bongo, and he would hit the bongo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And all these kids would start dancing. Somebody had a set of symphonies, what do you call those drums? And they would bang on the drums. Actually, in New York, somebody brought the inside of an old piano inside the 26th Second Avenue, and he would hit on it with a hammer during the kirtan. Imagine if somebody came in here when we were singing before and had some symphony drums and a broken up piano and started banging on it. That would be a pretty ecstatic kirtan. He was teaching them the art of living. The art of living. Living in the mode of goodness. Understanding we are not this material body. We are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We have an eternal relationship with that Supreme Lord that can be awakened through the process of devotional service to the Lord. You don't have to change your position. Just add Krishna. You don't have to change. You don't have to give up your family. You don't have to give up occupation. You don't have to give up your studies. You don't have to do any of this. Just add Krishna. And there's a few rules and regulations. Be a vegetarian. Don't take imagine in 65, 66, all the way up to 75, don't take no intoxication. Not even tea or coffee. No illicit sex. Back then, probably still the same. It was a goal of everyone's life. And no gambling. Give up these things. And he got so many people to follow him. And from that core, people would go. I was just reading I guess it's just like, it was a conversation, it was a meeting of people that were there for the 25th anniversary of the opening of our Bombay temple. And they were talking that they were taking the train from Amritsar, northern, and going down to Bombay. And they were going to go past Delhi. There was some person on the train that came up to talk to Prabhupada and said, you should start something in Delhi. So when they got to Delhi, he just said, Gurudas, and you and your wife Yamuna and Giriraj, and you get off the train right here and go start a temple in Delhi. And they did it. And now we have, 19 temples in the greater Delhi area? I have a friend that was sent to Puerto Rico. He had $10. He had $10 and a pair of cartels and a drum and a few books. Puerto Rico now has a beautiful temple. This is how people become empowered. When somebody's empowered, they empower other people. They don't take people down. They take people up. They lift people up. When you come in the association of people like this, the atmosphere rises. I've given this example here before. There's a famous basketball player named Steph Curry. And I can explain to you why I know that. Because it's the Indian spice. Curry is an Indian spice. And President Obama had started something called My Brother's Keepers. And it was to help uplift the black, especially the young men in the black communities, to better their lives and to find guidance and to find support and do all these things. And so they had this panel, maybe 15, 20 young African-American men on the sides. And one of the boys asked them, he said to President Obama and Steph Curry, what does it mean to be a man? And President Obama said, it doesn't mean having a 2-pound chain around your neck where you're cussing and trashing and criticizing and just bringing people down to the lowest level of understanding. What it means to be a man is that when you walk into a place, the whole atmosphere goes up with your presence. And you keep pushing it forward and forward and forward. And that's what Srila Prabhupada did. That's what he did. He took the hippies and he took whatever they were, and he started a book publishing company. He started a magazine. You name it. He started a Bhaktivedanta Institute for Science. Now we have over 100 PhDs working in that institution. This is the power. So Prabhupada was teaching, you're not that body, you're a spirit soul. Whatever the body is telling you, it's not you. Just like we have so many experiences of the mind, isn't it? Does anybody here have a tranquil mind all the time? Tranquil. Sometimes you go to the yoga classes and they'll say the monkey mind. If you ever go to India, you'll see the monkeys. They're jumping from tree to tree to tree. But we are all very fortunate. We're sitting here in this beautiful temple. We have this wonderful association. We have the presiding deities of Dallas, Radha Kalachandji. We have association of like-minded people who are striving to perfect their lives, not neglecting the material side, but perfecting the spiritual side of their lives. Perfecting the spiritual side of one's life goes right along with perfecting our material side. Because all we have to do is, like, say we have so many qualifications. I'm a plumber, I'm a carpenter, I'm a doctor, I'm a bus driver, I'm this. They're all zeros. But if you put one in front of them, all the zeros become 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. And that one is Krishna. And if we just put that one in front of within the forefront of our consciousness, then our life has true value. Because Jet Karoshi, Jedasnoshi, Jet Dahanti Dadativa, whatever we do, whatever we give away, whatever austerities we perform, should be done as an act of love for the Lord. A devotional offering to the Lord. Our work, our austerity, our charity, our whatever we eat, everything. If you just put Krishna, when we say Krishna, it's just God. The word Krishna means all attractive. That's the name of God. God has unlimited names. Namnamakati Bahujani, hundreds and millions of names. And the cool part is Sarva Shakti, that all the energy, all the potency of the Supreme Lord Himself is embedded within the names of God. That's why in the Judeo-Christian we pray, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed is your name. Hallowed be thy name. The name of God is full of spiritual potency. And what would happen if everybody took to the holy name of the Lord? Let's just use the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, holy is your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. If you want to make earth heavenly, we take shelter of the holy names of the Lord and broadcast it throughout the world. Because this is the panacea for all the suffering and troubles everyone undergoes in this world. We have been trying to solve the problems of this world by different material, what would you say, solutions. But all the solutions cause different types of pollution. I say that devotees are poetic. I just proved it. The idea is that we have an opportunity as human beings. Animals can't do this. Animals don't understand philosophy. They understand eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And if they're running around on four legs, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and we just run around on four tires and we eat, sleep, mate, and defend, what is the difference? We're just a little more polished than the animal. Just a little more polished than the animals. And human life is not meant to be a polished animal. It's meant to understand our original relationship with the Lord through the practices of devotional service. Everyone is a servant of something. Everyone serves something. Everyone has an identify ourselves as something. I'm from North Dakota. I'm male. I'm 73 years old. I'm this, I'm that. So many different things. But that's not us. That's just the dress. Just like if I were to think, this person is red, this person is blue, this person is gray. That's just the clothing. Behind those is a person, is a body. So behind our bodies is a spirit soul, which is, energizing this body. Without the soul present, it's just a dead vehicle to be manipulated or to be, invited into the body, produced. Just as the sun alone illuminates this whole universe, so the soul illuminates this body with consciousness. So wherever we see consciousness, be it an amoeba or Lord Brahma, man, woman, dog, there is life there. There's a soul present wherever we see consciousness. No matter how undeveloped it is or how developed it is, there's a soul present. And as we practice this process of bhakti yoga, we learn how to see that soul present everywhere. And when we see the soul, we see the Lord accompanying that soul, and we never forget our relationship with Krishna. This is the value of what we have here. This is the value of what we're offering. And we humbly pray everyone in whatever way they can, whatever service they can do, no matter how simple it may seem, please take the time. Please take the time. Just take the time to utilize this life for the service of Krishna. And I pray that you all receive the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, who came across the ocean to give this knowledge to the world, and all the previous teachers and the Supreme Lord. And we pray that you have a beautiful life engaged in the service of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions or comments? I thought there was a lot of announcements, so I stopped a little bit early. Anyone have any thoughts from the kirtan or the? Is that Antiyami? Oh,
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you
Hare
so
Krishna.
much for enlivening us. I don't know about everyone else, but I was totally enlivened with the kirtan. Totally enlivened. But listening to the Leelas of Srila Prabhupada, you made me remember that no matter what it is we're going through, it was nothing compared to what Srila Prabhupada went through. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I saw something on my computer, and it said complainers. It was this thing. It was like a little YouTube thing, and the title of it was Complainers. This one man gets on there and he says, there was a person that was hiking, and a boulder came down the mountain and landed on his arm, and he was pinned there. And after 4 days, he had to amputate his own arm. And there was a lady that was walking on a bridge that broke, and she fell into a river that was full of crocodiles and broke her collarbone, but made it to the shore. There was another person that was at some carnival, and they have these big slingshots that they put watermelons in, and somehow or another bonged her on the head. And another person was in Australia, and he was walking in a forest, and a kangaroo popped him in the face. And the answer, the response that they gave, if they were asked the question, what was it? And they said, it could have been worse. So if you're complaining about the fact that you're in traffic, or the fact that somebody said something that you didn't like or you don't agree with, or this or that or the other thing, they say that some people say, well, my glass is half full, my glass is half empty. 2 million people a year die of thirst. You have a half a glass of water, be grateful. 2 million people a year die of thirst. Be grateful you have a half a glass of water. Any other thoughts? That was a good one, wasn't it? That's worth watching YouTube. Davy.
Thank you for that class, Maharaj. I was just thinking about how when Prabhupada first met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, he asked him, well, how is this going to help when India needs independence? And he was kind of interested in pursuing that role as a freedom fighter in India. And at the same time, when Prabhupada arrived in America, like you had mentioned, everybody was interested in important things like civil rights, women's rights, all of those things, and the war and establishing peace. And they took up Krishna consciousness. And I'm just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what it was like, what the devotees were saying as they took up Krishna consciousness, as opposed to, engaging in that kind of, in the demonstrations to improve things in society, and what the conversations were about.
Does everybody understand her question? Because the founder of our society, Srila Prabhupada, when he was in college, he graduated, he had I think he was studying philosophy and logic or things like that. And he didn't accept his diploma because as a protest for British rule, you wouldn't accept your diploma. You went through the school, but you wouldn't accept your diploma. And you would wear kadi. You would wear hand loom. Like this is machine loomed. But he would wear only kadi, which is hand loomed cloth. And it's not as fine. And it's a little coarse, and it's a little thick. And he would wear that type of clothes. Of course, back in India, those days, they wore dhotis like this, and they wore kurta shirts like this. And that was a sign that you were a follower of Gandhi. And you were against repression of the English, the Raj of England. And so when he went to see that his spiritual master for the first time, he gave him when he told him to go preach in the Western world, his comment was, how are they going to listen to somebody from India when we aren't a sovereign nation, when we don't have our own independence? And his spiritual master said, Krishna consciousness is so important. It's so important that all these little things on the side, this domination for here, the domination for there, are insignificant. They change like the weather daily. They change like the weather. Preach this message out. So what Davy was saying is, what was just like Prabhupada was I guess you could say he was a what do you call it? I know the word. He was progressive. He was into the rights of his nation, just like we were in the rights. I got lucky. My draft number was 277. I didn't have to go. It went up to about 98 birthdays my year of the draft. Anybody here know how the draft works in America? You want to know how it works? They have a big bowl, and in the bowl they have these little, some little things that look exactly the same. And they put the hand in the bowl and they pull it out, and there's a date on the bowl, on the piece of paper, and it will say April 13th. Those people born on April 13th are the first ones that go into the army. They pull out another one, July 7th. July 7th is the second type number that goes to goes into the army or Vietnam. And it goes down until they come all the way up to 366. I'm born in a leap year. So 365, 366. My number was 277. That year it only went up to about 90 something. Because I was just in a year where it was only people that turned 18 that year. The first time they did the draft, it was everybody who was 18 to 25 years old, and they went up to 160 birthdays, and they drafted all these boys. And it was terrible. It was terrible. No wonder there was protest. And the African Americans practically weren't considered human in certain places of America. And we had to fight that. I know so many devotees that were members of the civil rights movement. I know some of our devotees were friends with Martin Luther King. And so Prabhupada came into this environment. My guess, Davy, is that he knew what to do. He told me, he said sometimes, "Don't worry, I'm a Calcutta boy." Goes on in Calcutta, you can't beat up a Calcutta. So now I've taken up all my time. Where's our illustrious temple president?
Hare Krishna. Let's all give Maharaj a big Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the wonderful class about the glories and pastimes of Srila Prabhupada and the practical wisdom for us to take into our lives. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So I would like to welcome you all on behalf of our temple, Srila Prabhupada and our most merciful deities. My name is Nrsinga Rupadas, and I want to welcome you all to our Sunday Feast program. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. The remaining program is shortly after announcements. We'll start with Kirtan and Gaur Artik. At 7 o'clock, we'll have our feast. The feast will be served out inside today due to the chance of rain. And at 8 o'clock, we will have evening darshan. We would like to thank our sponsors and volunteers for making our Sunday feast possible. Thank you so much to Ankur Gupta in memory of Charan Devi Sitaram Gupta and Rupendra Sharma, N. Sekar, Priyanka Tyagi and Swati Tyagi, and Supriya Saki Devi Dasi in loving memory of her late father, Sri Mohan Krishna Kanpal, and an anonymous donor for sponsoring today's Sunday festival. Let's give them a big Hari Bo. Today's feast is prepared by Lalita Saki Mataji and Ranu Mataji along with their team. Let's give them a big Hari Bo, Hari Bo. We want to We want to thank Radha Krishna Prabhu for organizing the vegetable cut-ups every Sunday and almost every festival, and the devotees that helped this year, Ramakrishna Prabhu, Neelachal Chandra Prabhu, Surya Krishna Prabhu, Varsha Mataji, Nandini Mataji, Sandra Mataji, and there's a husband and wife that prefer to remain anonymous, but let's give them a big Hari Bo, Hari Bo. And to our serve-out team led by Mathura Priya Prabhu and Aprameya Krishna Prabhu, we're very grateful to their service, and our cleanup team led by Dowji Nitai Prabhu, Abhiram Pran Gaur Prabhu, Tulsi Shan Prabhu, and Brajendra Sutta Prabhus, we're very grateful to them for their service as well. And Divya Nam and Paramanitai Prabhus and their team who handle the cleanup of the Prashadam area. Let's give them all a big Hari Bo. So upcoming on Monday, October 6th, will be the first day of Kartik, the month of Damodar. So please mark your calendar for that. So coming up soon. And on Tuesday, October 21st, we'll be celebrating Govardhan Puja. And on Saturday, October 25th, we'll be celebrating the disappearance day of Srila Prabhupada. So please mark your calendar for that. Again, for our serve out, we'll be serving inside. So as we've been doing for the last few Sundays, once you leave the temple room at 7 for Prashad, please put on your shoes and exit out the back door and take a left and enter back in through the middle into our courtyard area, where we'll split you into two lines for Prashadam just to help alleviate the traffic and keep the hallways clear and safe. We have volunteer opportunities. We're trying our best to serve all of our guests that come on Sundays. We have about 700 or so guests that come, and our capacity is limited. So if you would like to join our team, you can see any of the devotees in the hallway with a badge or myself. We'll happily add you to our list. And then today you'll have an opportunity to bring the Lord's Maha home with you. So in the Prashadam hall, there will be a table with Didi paraphernalia, which is not different from the Lord. So you have the opportunity to take this paraphernalia home with you and bring the Lord into your house. So I encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to our devotees, to Achyuta Govinda Prabhu. He's going to share the results from our Bhadra Purnima campaign. And I want to give him and the whole book team a big Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Thank them so much for their service and what they did to make Bhadra Purnima successful. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the presiding deities of our temple, Radha Kalachandji, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and Gaur Nitai, to our dearmost Srila Prabhupada, and to our spiritual masters like His Holiness Ritadwaja Swami, and to our former temple president, His Grace Nityananda Prabhu, our current temple president, His Grace Nrsimharupa Prabhu, for helping us to reach our goal of distributing. Our goal was 150 sets of Shrimad Bhagavatam, and by the support of wonderful devotees like you all, we did 163. So we would like to really very grateful to all of you. So we have so far we have given out about distributed most of these sets to the devotees who sponsored, but still we have several sets that are available. So what we are trying to do is we would like to place these in, like our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada wanted libraries to have these sets. So we are requesting your help again. If you know any libraries that could take one of these sponsored set, so please reach out to us. We will be at the book table down in the hallway and in the Prashadam hall also. And also what we are trying to do is Srila Prabhupada wanted if the leaders actually follow this process, then the common man will follow. So we are trying to reach out to leadership like, George Bush, who lives in Dallas, or Tremal Crow, or anyone who is influential, who would like to receive this as a gift. So we need your help for that. So please, we request you to get in touch with us. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. And we're behind on time right now, but for anybody who's here for the first time, if you could please raise your hand. If you've come to the temple today for the first time, wonderful. Wow. A lot of guests that are here for the first time. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you so much for coming and visiting us today. And for those of you that are newcomers, we want to offer you a complimentary gift of the Bhagavad Gita, and you can collect that. We'll be honoring Prashad in our community hall upstairs. And also, if you're interested in gatherings like this, we have these throughout the Dallas Metroplex, and you can find information on our website, radhakalachandji.org. Thank you so much. At this time, let's stand for Gaur Artik. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Radha Kalachandji ki jai.